Oh, you like to party, huh? Yes.
It is bad movies galore as we encounter the rottenness of the rotten. Meaning, all of the movies on this list have a 0% on the Tomatometer. That's right, 0 zip goose egg. Now, they also have at least 20 reviews. We wanted to make sure that the movies we're vouching for as the worst reviewed films have a minimum threshold of critics' reviews. So these are the usual suspects, from remakes to sequels, and even a few Netflix films.
Don't make me kill you, Mr.
Hands up high.
Oh, snap! You got the drop on Wyatt Earp.
Now that we have set the mood, we are counting down the worst reviewed movies of all time, ranked by Tomatometer. Starting with number 10, Dark Crimes. A hard-boiled detective becomes suspicious of an author when the incidents described in his hit novel resemble the inner workings of an unsolved murder. Starring Jim Carrey, Charlotte Gainsbourg, Martin Stokas, and directed by Alexandros Avranos. Critics say Dark Crimes is a rote, unpleasant thriller that fails to parlay its compelling true story and a committed Jim Carrey performance into even modest chills.
The victim's body had the markings of someone choked to death using a fisherman's knot.
Only the killer could know those facts.
I think the book is your confession.
You think?
I know he's guilty. Just prove it. But you get too close.
Talk.
You want justice? This is what they made me.
5 girls leashed like dogs. For what drives most humans?
Hair was matted with blood.
Don't forget who you are.
This case is all I have left.
He strangled a man.
What makes you think the murder even happened?
You want to hear the truth?
Number 9, Jaws: The Revenge. A family of widow Ellen Brody has long been plagued by shark attacks, and this unfortunate association continues when her son is the victim of a massive great white. Now, in mourning, Ellen goes to visit her other son, Michael, in the Bahamas, where she meets the charming Hoagie Newcomb. As Ellen and Hoagie begin a relationship, a huge shark appears off the coast of the island, and Ellen's troubles with great whites begins again. Starring Lorraine Gary, Lance Guest, Michael Caine, and directed by Joseph Sargent. Critics say illogical, tension-free, and filled with cut-rate special effects, Jaws 4: The Revenge is a sorry chapter in a once proud franchise.
Michael!
Number 8, The Last Days of American Crime. 2 men and a woman plan the heist of the century before a government broadcast signal wipes out crime forever. Starring Edgar Ramirez, Michael Pitt, Anna Brewster, and directed by Olivier Megaton. Critics say this crime is punishment.
Who's your boy?
What boy?
Johnny D. I gave you up for one more taste.
Bad company you keep, man. You don't have to do this, man.
Easy now. We don't know how much gasoline is on your lips to light up, but there's enough in this tub. So if you stay real still, maybe this will burn itself out on your face.
Number 7, Gold Diggers. Calvin and Leonard, two broke losers, are arrested for trying to rob rich old sisters Doris and Betty. Now, the women have a change of heart, drop the charges, and invite the boys over to their mansion. Calvin decides he and Leonard should marry the women, and when they soon die, live off the inheritance. The ladies, however, have run into their own financial troubles and wed the boys with plans of murdering them for insurance money. Starring Will Friedle, Chris Owen, Louis Lasser, and directed by Gary Preisler. Critics say this film aspires to Farley level offensiveness, but the PG-13 rating and a dearth of decent gags renders Gold Diggers tame, toothless, and dull.
I'm gonna do a swan dive. Are you watching?
Yes! This could go on
You're
for
not
years.
watching.
I'm watching!
Can you see me?
I can see you! Do something already while we're young! Do it!
Okay.
Now it's just you and me, baby.
I blacked out, Doris. I could have died. That's it?
Number 6, Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2. Toddlers use their special abilities to stop a media mogul from altering the minds of children. Starring Jon Voight, Scott Baio, Vanessa Angel, and directed by Bob Clark. Critics say a startling lack of taste pervades Super Babies, a sequel offering further proof that bad jokes still aren't funny when coming from the mouths of babies.
I'm intrigued. What is your last word?
Duck.
Duck is your last word. Duck. My leg! This machine has damaged my leg! Get him! What are you waiting for?
Bottle.
Get him before he... No! Too late! You see? You see? I told you, it's too late! Now it's over! No! Look at that! I warned you!
It's playtime. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4, 5 potato, 6 potato, 7 potato, more.
Number 5, Pinocchio. A woodcarver creates a puppet that longs to become a real boy. Starring Nicoletta Broschi, Mino Belli, and Roberto Benigni, who also directed the film. Critics say Roberto Benigni misfires wildly with this adaptation of Pinocchio, and the result is an unfunny, poorly made, creepy vanity project.
Pinocchio, aspetta. Vieni vicino a me. Raccontami, come mai ti volevano impiccare?
Per le monete d'oro.
E le monete d'oro che fine hanno fatto?
Le ho perdute.
E dove le hai perdute?
Nel bosco qui vicino.
Se le hai perdute nel bosco vicino, andiamo a cercarle, le ritroveremo.
No, ora che mi rammento bene, Fatina, le monete non le ho perdute, no.
Bravo, Pinocchio.
Le ho inghiottite mentre bevevo la vostra medicina amara. Perché ridete?
Per la bugia che hai detto.
E come fate a sapere che ho detto una bugia?
Perché le bugie, caro Pinocchio, sono di due specie. Quelle che hanno le gambe corte e quelle che hanno il naso lungo.
Ah. E le mie di che specie sono?
Number 4, Gotti. Raised in the streets of New York, young John Gotti found his way into the Gambino crime family, eventually having the boss removed and becoming head of the powerful family. Now, his wife asked only one thing from John, to never expose their children to his profession. But he broke the vow, and John Jr. took his place as his father's capo. Starring John Travolta, Spencer LaFranco, Pruitt Taylor Vince, and directed by Kevin Connolly. Critics say, forget about it.
And in view of a potential life sentence in this case, it would be imprudent to grant him bail.
Thank you, Ms. Giacalone, but you have not convinced me that Mr. Gotti is a flight risk. The court grants bail in the amount of $1 million.
Your Honor, as the court has granted bail for Mr. Gotti, we also request that bail be set at a reasonable amount for Mr. Johnson.
Your Honor, we have strong reason to believe that this defendant's life will be in serious jeopardy if he is granted bail.
And why would that be?
Because Wilfred Johnson has been a confidential informant for the FBI for the past 19 years.
It's a god lie! Gotti, you're lying! She's lying! She's trying to get me killed!
Counsel, restrain your client.
In light of that information, if confirmed, bail is denied on Johnson.
John, if I stand strong, if I refuse to testify, and we win, can I get a pass? Swear it. Swear it on your kid's grave. You won't kill me. How am I gonna kill a ghost?
Number 3, 1,000 words. Jack McCall is a selfish literary agent whose fast-talking ways allow him to close any deal. His next target is New Age guru Dr. Sinja, but the savvy doctor sees right through Jack. A magical tree appears in Jack's yard, and according to Dr. Sinja, the tree and Jack are connected. Every time Jack says a word, a leaf falls from the tree, and when the last leaf drops, Jack will die. With just 1,000 leaves left, Jack must learn to curb his speech or he's a goner. Starring Eddie Murphy, Kerry Washington, Cliff Curtis, and directed by Brian Robbins. Critics say dated jokes, 1,000 words was shot in 2008, and removing Eddie Murphy's voice, his great comedic asset, dooms this painful mess from the start.
Seems like every time I say something. Hello? Oh. Hell? I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back ribs. Shit. Hey, how are you doing this?
I'm doing nothing. You and this tree are now connected.
Connected?
Seems like all your talking is making you sick.
Hey, my talking is not making me sick.
Oh, really? What happens when a tree loses all its leaves, Jack?
So what are you trying to say, Sinja?
It's obvious to me. The more you talk, the more leaves fall, the sicker you get.
The sicker I get. So what happens if all the leaves fall off the tree?
That usually means the tree is dead.
Hey, wait a second. Hold on a second. You telling me that you think whatever happens to the tree happens to me? Yes. So I could die?
Yes, but you would die in the most amazing way possible.
I could die?
Or someone could turn you into a coffee table.
Hey, Sinji, you know you're a real funny dude to stand here making jokes while my life is being controlled by this magic tree.
Number 2, one missed call. When Beth Raymond witnesses the deaths of two friends, she knows there is more at work than just a tragic coincidence. Days before they die, both victims hear their terrifying final moments on cell phones. Now, though the police think Beth is crazy, Detective Jack Andrews believes her. Together, the pair try to unravel the mystery behind the horrifying messages before their own phone numbers come up. Starring Shannon Sossaman, Ed Burns, Ana Claudia Talancon, and directed by Eric Villette. Critics say one of the weakest entries in the J-horror remake sweepstakes, One Missed Call is undone by bland performances and shop-worn shocks. And before we reveal number 1, here are some honorable mentions. The Ridiculous Six. White Knife, an orphan raised by Native Americans, discovers that 5 outlaws are actually his half-brothers. Now together, they set out to save their wayward father. Starring Adam Sandler, Terry Crews, Taylor Lautner, and directed by Frank Carrassi. Critics say every bit as lazily offensive as its cast and concept would suggest, The Ridiculous Six is standard couch fare for Adam Sandler fanatics, and must avoid viewing for film enthusiasts of every other persuasion.
Frank had taken it all. But now I get to take something. The lives of his 5 ridiculous sons.
Don't forget about numero 6!
Holy moly!
No! Hell no!
I was just trying to knock him out.
Stratton. After the death of his American counterpart, an MI6 agent and his team must race against time to stop a madman from unleashing stolen chemical weapons. Starring Dominic Cooper, Gemma Chan, Tyler Hoechlin, and directed by Simon West. Critics say Stratton's action thriller ambitions are roundly thwarted by a derivative story, misguided casting, and a low-budget feel underscored by unimpressive set pieces. London Fields. Clairvoyant femme fatale Nicola Six has been living with a dark premonition of her impending death by murder. Now, she begins a tangled love affair with 3 uniquely different men, one of whom she knows will be her murderer. Starring Amber Heard, Billy Bob Thornton, Theo James, and directed by Matthew Cullen. Critics say London Fields bungles its beloved source material and an intriguingly eclectic cast, leaving audiences with a would-be neo-noir of interest only to the morbidly curious.
Nicola purposely showed up late to her dinner with Keith.
Akbar! Get a f***ing menu, will we?
Take a gin and tonic, please.
I'm on a special diet.
No food.
Is there a good reason why you're late?
Did you dress up for me? You look so handsome. You remind me of the king of Saudi Arabia.
I once slept, she said experimentally, with the king of Saudi Arabia.
Yet his men searched the entire world for the most beautiful women alive. People do want value for their money. Don't they, Keith?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely they do.
The thing about the king was,
The king never slept with the
same woman twice. When I was brought to his room, he laid out 2 lines of the finest cocaine. When I was brought to his room, he laid out the most miraculous panties.
Knickers.
Knickers.
And finally, number 1, Ballistic X versus Sever. Haunted by the mysterious death of his wife, Jeremiah X has become a recluse. But the former FBI manhunter is blackmailed back into service to track down an unstoppable ex-DIA operative codenamed Sever, who has kidnapped the young son of the head of a secret committee of international security agencies. Starring Antonio Banderas, Lucy Liu, Greg Henry, and directed by Kaus. Critics say a startlingly inept film, Ballistic X vs. Sever, offers overblown, wall-to-wall action without a hint of wit, coherence, style, or originality.
Where is my wife? What's your hurry?
Well, friends, that about does it for us. Be sure to stay tuned to the Rotten Tomatoes channel for more of the entertainment content you love and for even more news, scores, and recommendations on the latest TV shows and movies. Go to RottenTomatoes.com. Until next time, I am your host, Naz Perez, and we'll see you back here for more Top 10s on the Rotten Tomatoes Countdown.